Hello.
How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good.
Yeah?
Sorry for the delay here to our start time.
What's that?
Sorry for a delay to our start time.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, it's a long weekend, right? It's always busy.
Well, of course, everybody's last minute trying to get everything done, and then they realize at the last minute that Monday's a holiday, so.
Yeah, it was beer o'clock at work, that's for sure.
Beer o'clock?
Yeah, that's what we call our Fridays.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll be having a nice stiff one at home.
Yeah, well, I'm having a beer right now, actually.
Good for you. Excellent.
Yeah. We had a big wind, I guess, yesterday. So I've got a tree that's right beside my garage.
Yeah.
And when I woke up this morning, I went out to the truck. I opened up the garage door, go to back out. I was like, what the hell? There's a tree behind my truck.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Really?
Yeah, so I went and looked, and I guess the tree came right out from the bottom. Like, it looked like it just snapped. It almost looked like it was kind of rotten, but it wasn't. But I was lucky because there was actually a telephone pole there, so when it snapped, it pushed up against it. Some of the branches were sticking out a bit behind my truck, and then some were in the back lane, so I just kind of snapped them back a little bit.
But nothing hit your vehicle, though.
No. Well, no, the vehicle was inside the garage, okay. But yeah, this is on the other side of the garage, like on my neighbor's side, and I didn't see my neighbor's vehicle there, so I'm hoping that I don't think anything hit it. So I just kind of moved all the branches over for now, and then I'll have to try and... I got a chainsaw, but when I did the crabapple tree, when I cut it down, the blade is just dull as crap, so I'll have to see if I can get that sharpened.
I noticed when you said you had a chainsaw, you didn't go arr, 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 arr.
Arr, arr, arr. Well, it's not a gas one; it's a plug-in one.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, it's not.
The gas one would have warranted a hard.
It's not deserving.
It could have been. Yeah. Well, I mean, first is battery, then there's a plug-in, and then gas.
Yeah.
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 So I think I'm going to splice yesterday. I don't know. I'm debating what I want to do. Splice this episode with the next one or not. With the one we did yesterday, because they're kind of interrelated. But now we'll do 2 episodes.
Okay.
So did you get a chance to read what I sent you?
Yeah, you sent the article. It was basically that portion was talking about him and his girlfriend.
Yep.
Or his ex-girlfriend or whatnot. And then she was telling her story, not giving his name, but just kind of giving enough hints for everyone to figure out it was him.
Yes.
Just by, I read something about he wouldn't let her go out by herself, and always had to be with him, and pretty much under his control is the way that I read it.
It sounded very Manson-like. It sounded very Manson-like Charles Manson-like, how he was controlling her.
Maybe.
Like the way she described it. Like, she was like a slave to him almost.
With that?
She was like a slave to him almost.
Well, I mean, at the end, it seemed like she said basically she was writing it as an open diary. She just wanted to get it out there, get it off her chest, and then move on with her life. But, I mean, anything you throw out there, everyone sees. So, I mean, if it was meant to be a diary entry, well, you failed miserably.
Yeah, diary is supposed to be private. If it's public, it's...
Yeah, either you're wanting to go ahead with charges or you're not. This passive-aggressive behavior, I mean, is pretty much, I think, what she was doing. Not wanting to say directly what happened, but wanting to get it out there. It's kind of like when Facebook, when someone says, oh, not this again, or something cryptic, and then everyone else has to just kind of figure out what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, the whole execution of that, like how she did that, was kind of, I don't know, it's like, what are you trying to do here?
Yeah, either you're trying to ruin them or you're not. If you're not trying to ruin them, then why are you putting this in a public forum?
Yeah, it just seems odd.
Because it sounded like she didn't want to get anybody in trouble. I think, or maybe I read that wrong, but initially she didn't want to really,
Well, that's what she said. I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble. I'm just trying to, this is for me, or whatever.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like, if it's for you, not the world. I mean, you just posted it to the world. So, it's not like someone hacked your account and found out what you did. You physically did it yourself. Like, you went ahead and did it. So, I mean, I don't know. It's...
Or is it more like a Taylor Swift song where she sings about all of her exes, never names who they are, but makes it very obvious that that's who she's singing about?
Yeah, but was she insinuating this had to do with multiple people that she had gone out with? Or was she insinuating that this was just him, like just one person?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I probably have to read that letter again. But the fallout from it is concerning. Did you read about the fallout, like what happened to Chris Hardwick after the blog was posted?
I did. Now I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Well, he got let go from everything he was connected to.
Well, he did a couple of the game show with the Kerplunk thing where they went down the.
Was that called The Wall?
Yeah, it was called The Wall.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah. Then
Kerplunk. I like Kerplunk better for a name.
Kerplunk. Yeah, and then he was also the starter of the Nerdist.
Yeah, he founded the Nerdist. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got kicked out by them.
Well, he actually sold. Well, he sold the Nerdist to Legendary, the company called Legendary, for I don't know what it was, $800 million or whatever the heck it was.
But he was still on the board of directors type thing, and they just kind of turfed him out.
I don't know if he actually was. That part I wasn't sure of. He kept.
Yeah, I thought I'd read that.
Well, that might be right. But he did keep his podcast, and he just renamed it because the podcast is called the Nerdist Podcast. But he kept that to himself because he really likes doing it. But then he also has the Talking Dead gig.
That's what it was, Talking Dead.
That's
I thought it was like the Walking Dead, and I'm like, well, what's that?
Yeah, no, the Talking Dead. Yeah, it's the show that's on immediately after each episode. And it's, him and some celebrities discussing what they just watched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's incredibly popular.
So it's basically a commentary after a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of similar like a book club after everyone reads the book, everyone gets together to discuss it, but this is just a movie.
Yeah, that's an exact proper description of what that would be, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really popular.
What would you call that?
I like the book club thing. So the movie club? Call it a movie club or a TV show club?
Yeah, the show club, or you'd have to have some. It is a good idea. Sure, why not? Because everybody watches the show and then they move on with their lives. And some people watch the show, go, that was really good, and they want to discuss it with other people. Like,
yeah, it's
sure, why not?
Great concept for a show.
Yeah, I think more of a movie based because it's more of the length and the detail and all the things going on within an hour or however long it is. The show is like half an hour at the most, sometimes, depending on the show. You may not get as much content to talk about. Really. Yeah.
But he had that, but he also he did a lot of stuff at San Diego Comic-Con. He was like the favorite moderator that people would, they'd bring him in.
You dropped from that too, right?
Yeah, he dropped from that too.
Yeah, that was one of the things, yeah.
I don't know if he was ever dropped from that TV show you were talking about, the Kerplunk, The Wall or whatever. I don't know.
I think he may have moved on at that point to something else, maybe.
Yeah. I know that show was really important to him.
To him?
To him, yeah. Like, emotionally. Because I guess I've never watched the show, but apparently it changes people's lives or something.
Well, he had said, like, what he's in right now is kind of his... I don't call it safe haven, but this is his thing now. Like, this is his world.
Oh, the Talking Dead is, that's his thing. That's his favorite thing that he does, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Yeah, like who knows? Like, I mean, I'm sure he's been into more relationships than the one that he was with her. So, I mean, there's always.
Well, yeah.
I mean, when you have an average.
Yeah, he hasn't been out with a lot of women.
Right.
And, you know, not that's publicly disclosed, but his exes I don't know if all of them, but his current wife and one or maybe two of his exes came forward and, you know, kind of spoke on his behalf, saying, you know, we understand the severity of these allegations, but we have never experienced anything remotely like what you've suggested. A lot of professionals in the industry indicated the same thing. You know, they said, how could it be this guy? That doesn't make any sense. People that know him very, very well, like, you know, friends with him for 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, these are people who don't have anything to gain defending him. These are just people defending him just because.
Yeah, people that don't work with him. They you know, I've known him for 20 years or 10 years, or, you know, people that have previously worked with him.
Right.
So okay, so he loses all this. You know, this is, you know, the Me Too movement, right? So he loses everything. Kind of pending investigation, but there's no investigation against him. It's just, you're guilty, you're done. You're off our show. You're off this. The Nerdist, which he founded, they wiped his name off of any. There's no record to show that he was ever part of Nerdist or that he started it or anything. All that got wiped out. And
this was after his tweets, not after the girlfriend, because after that, I think said something about after reviewing everything, they figured that the best thing would be to put him back to work.
Well, no, this is like with the Nerdist I'm talking about. Yeah, like, well, sorry, this is before he came back to work. So he went out and defended himself and to prove his innocence. So to prove his innocence, he had lots of conversations back and forth with his ex, and he presented lots of proof that, you know, allegations made against me or don't make any sense, they're not true, blah, blah, blah. And so he had to go, even though she never made allegations against him, like in a court of law sort of thing, where she was attacking him or suing him or anything. She never did anything like that. She just wanted to get it off her chest. So she never had to defend herself. So he had to go defend himself to get everything back, which he didn't get everything back, as far as I know. He got some stuff back. So he proved, you know, I guess, he proved well enough that this isn't him. The you know, what was said about him was not true. And he got his Talking Dead show back. He'll probably be, like, it sounds like he'll be doing San Diego Comic-Con next year.
Okay, I'm a little confused on the chronological order of how this took place.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this was like, I think this was like 2 months after all this happened or something like that, that he came forward with proof that he presented to his employers.
No, but, okay, are we talking about him with with his ex-girlfriend? Did that come first before this thing about the tweets? That's the timeline I'm trying to figure out here.
Oh, like there's tweets. So what, the tweets from her?
No, the tweets that he did years ago, and he got screwed for, and then lost his job.
Oh, no, that's James Gunn. This is two different people.
Oh, it's two different people.
Yeah, you're talking about James Gunn. No. This is similar, but no. He's never had any tweets or anything like that. This has nothing to do with him. He's never had any tweets like that.
Well, here I thought it was the same guy.
No.
And then this was the thing with the girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just the whole you're guilty till proven innocent, and you're not allowed to make any mistakes. Kind of ties in together, but no. What happened was
ask questions later.
Yeah. She posted a personal blog publicly for everyone to see because she has like followers because she's a cosplayer.
Right.
And what she stated in there was conclusive enough, according to what she stated, that everyone that employs Chris Hardwick blacklisted him.
Oh.
So then he went about trying to prove his innocence, because I mean the Talking Dead is very, very important to him. All the stuff he does, is important to him. But the Talking Dead, like he said, it's his safe haven. It's his place he goes. It's because he's a nerd. He's been picked on, his whole life. He's actually made something of himself despite all the shortcomings all us nerds have. Right. And that's where he felt at home. So what he did is he unearthed conversations between him and his ex that proved enough to Talking Dead anyway, that the allegations that were made are false, they're not true, this is not the same person or whatever. And so I read them. I read that. I don't know what it was. 7 months after they broke up, she was texting him, even though she was in another relationship with someone else. She was texting him, asking if they were going to get back together, and a lot of things like that. She was kind of begging him back, it sounds like, even though she was in a relationship with someone else. She just, has it been long enough? Are we good to get back together again? Like that sort of thing. Which, if that's the situation she was in, seems implausible. Not impossible, but implausible that, why would you...
Now, emotionally, how much hold that he would have had on her.
Yeah.
Or if this is just her wanting to know if... there's two ways of looking at it. You can looking at it, her as the victim of, her being controlled mentally and not...
they call it Stockholm Syndrome, where...
Yeah, exactly. You're defending your captor. So now that... so now that she's moved on and actually went out with someone else, or was actively going out with someone else, and then asking him if they were planning on going back together, then... Now, are these the things that they saw that he put forward? Is that what happened?
He presented this to them to show that this is uncharacteristic of me. It's not something I would do. And, maybe, the suggestion is that there's malicious intent on the ex-girlfriend's part.
Right.
When you break up with somebody, there's malicious intent. Kind of. In, I guess, a lot of cases,
it depends on it.
Well, no, it depends
on the
if you're
the situation.
If you're
Some
the person
that's
really
good at it.
Yeah. But if you're the one that's dumped, you're going to be pissed off. You're going to be probably angry. In a lot of cases, I guess. It's well, why would you dump me? We were perfect together.
Like I said, depending on your situation.
Yeah. But it's not an uncommon thing where. I've tried not to, but I'm sure I've made a disparaging comment about an ex at some point.
Well, I'm sure we all have, yeah.
But it's not, and maybe that's what this was. Oh, poor me, I got dumped. And then you try to, you play up the victim card a little bit more. I'm not saying this is what she did. But
when you're in the entertainment industry, you have to be so mindful, because it's not like you or I or something and someone says something and it's done.
Yeah.
They say something, everybody looks at it, scrutinizes it, put it in a microscope. Everyone has a big discussion about it, and then it just becomes something that it shouldn't have gotten to.
Yeah. Well, another thing too, she was a cosplayer. I don't know how much of a career she had as a cosplayer. I don't know how. The best cosplayers can make money at it, but I don't think everybody can. So if she's a cosplayer and she's dating the biggest nerd, really, the biggest nerd on the planet, or the most famous nerd on the planet, it ups her, it makes her more famous. And being a cosplayer is a lot about fame You know, it's like, well, you're popular on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. You're posting pictures. People like them. People will pay to take pictures with you. You know, so she had a lot to gain by being in a relationship with him. And then, you know, he dumps you. So then what? But yeah, there's an email that he submitted as well. Or not an email. He had sent her a long text message. Like his breakup text message. And the reason he dumped her is because she cheated on him with this other guy. And he says, you know, that's just something I can't forgive. You know, that's, you know, I don't believe in it. And it was a really heartfelt, you know, I'm really sorry this went the way it was. I hope you do well. You know, like he broke up with her because she cheated on him. But, you know, he still wished her well, and he was very apologetic, because he's a very apologetic kind of guy.
Right.
You know, he's almost like blaming himself for it, sort of thing. But he was just apologize. It was like, I think when I read it, it was like a three-page text he had sent her. You know, and it was well thought out. It was a little long in the tooth, but you know, he was, you know, but he said, like, you cheated on me, so we're breaking up. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Da, 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 can you forgive me? No, like it's over.
Wants to do it again. Yeah.
Like, I have been in that situation before where I broke up with someone for that exact reason.
Right.
Like, okay, you did it. You know, you did the time. I can't be with someone I can't trust.
Right.
Whether that was the right decision or I don't know. But at the time, you know, my mindset is, you know, if someone does that to you, it's like, okay, well, I'm done then. I literally can't. I can't emotionally be there. I can never trust you again.
Yeah, because there's always that in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And no matter how long you've been together after that happens, it's always going to be in the back of your mind.
So, I mean, you know, and I guess it's more or less what he said. So, you know, I broke up with you cheated on me. And then she's with that guy, and then she's asking if they can get back together.
Right.
And I think he replied to it like, no, we're not getting back together. You know, I've moved on. You've obviously moved on.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, it's over. So there was almost like I don't know if it did or not, but, you know, is she kind of stalking him, or like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to assume anything.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it doesn't mean he did or didn't do the things that she said that he did.
Yeah.
This is just the breakup.
Yeah. And it was bitter. Yeah, and it was bitter.
Yeah. Right.
But he proved enough to his employers, like they were satisfied with what he sent, that, okay, well, this doesn't sound like it was you. It sounds like maybe it was more her. We're going to hire you back. But some people are still angry that he was hired back.
My God, this is like a couple with their friends trying to figure out who's going to get the friends.
Yeah.
Well, here's my letter. Here's her letter.
Yeah. I'm not saying either one is guilty or not guilty. I don't know. But again, if you're going to character assassinate someone publicly like that, it almost needs to go to some sort of trial in a way, because, you know, he's been smeared, and if he didn't do the crime, then he should be exonerated, but there's no exoneration. And if he's guilty, he should be punished for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's happening. Like, she's not pressing charges against him. He's not pressing charges against her. Right. It's like, I just want my job back. I know I didn't do the things you said I did. And she's saying, yes, you did do the things I said. And now she's kind of backtracking now that, well, I never specifically stated it was about you.
Well, I mean, that's...
So now it's like, okay, well, now what? Like, are you trying to... Like, why would she go back? It's like...
Well, I mean, there's his out right there. As soon as she says that, you know, I didn't say who it was. She's not saying this was you. Like, this is... I mean, she's already deflecting what she's saying so that he doesn't get the brunt of it, is what it looks like. Now, what format did she do this? Was this a private letter to herself? Was this
no?
That she
this
sent
is
to
like
someone?
This is like
she
a
sent
blog.
it to the Washington Post, or like
it was like a blog. But she has people that follow her, so the thing gets shared a million times. people. That's what people do. They write their journals, their private journals, publicly online for everybody to read.
Yeah. Right. Well, she may have been wanting to air out her dirty laundry, and that was the only outlet that she had. But she tried to make it discreet, but it didn't work out that way.
But I think like things like this, look, if I have an issue with my wife, I'm going to deal with it privately.
Right.
Like my last relationship obviously didn't go very well, and I tried to keep as much of it private as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same. If you have an issue with the person, I think you need to press charges against them. Like, you don't leave it, you go press charges against them. If you want to take it into a public forum, do it properly.
Yeah. Either do it or don't do it, but don't.
Like, if this is a private matter, keep it private. If you're not pursuing, if you just want to purge yourself, you've got some great friends you can talk to. Your psychiatrist, psychologist. If that's as far as you want to go with it, then go that far with it. But if this is a criminal thing, which she was kind of implying that it was, then she should go ahead and process. I know it's difficult to process this sort of thing if that's what she went through. Like, it's difficult to talk about it and relive it and all that sort of stuff. And I know it's difficult, but, I don't know. It just seems questionable, is all I'm saying.
Well,
but why, the thing is, I don't understand why it's public first. So if they did this in the court of law, and they went back and forth and said, look, I'm accusing you of this, you've done this, and she builds a case against them, they go to court, they keep it private. I know that's not the way it works, but they keep it private. And then they decide who's guilty and who's not, and then they can make it public.
Yeah. I mean, without this letter and doing all that stuff, don't worry. If he gets indicted or he gets arrested, don't worry. The tabloids will be all over it. It'll be all over.
Exactly.
Then they'll get all the details afterwards.
Like in the old days, that's what it was. If something happened, you accuse the other person, and legally, you go to the police, you make your statement, you get a lawyer, and then you go after that person. You don't go to the press and then get a lawyer. That's it's backwards.
Well, yeah, because the press just. I mean, it's. Now, how did it work with CosbyNet? Did someone call him out and it came out first before charges were pressed, or did someone press charges and then it came out?
That I don't know. That's a good question. I think it might have gone public first, because the thing, and I'll definitely acknowledge this, is if you're going up against someone who's famous and has power and has money, sometimes going to the court isn't going to do it. You have to go to the press first.
Because they'll hush everybody. Yeah. They'll just pay them off or whatever they do.
But here's the thing with this case, why I think this case is different, is she went public, fine, but then she didn't follow up.
Right.
And there is no follow-up. And there is no intention to follow up, it seems. So then, that's why, and it's one case against him.
Well, because
there's no history of it. Yeah. Like with the Bill Cosby thing, so many people came out.
Right.
That, you know what, this is a bad person. Like, there's no question. There's so many people that came out, the case.
Yeah, they knew there was more than... Yeah, they knew there was more than one person, so...
Yeah, like in this case, it's an isolated incident, like an isolated case. It's one person against another. He's never... there's never any... There hasn't been any talk about him having done anything like that with anyone else.
Right.
So it's this is just... It's an anomalous relationship that was completely different than every other relationship he's been in, at least publicly speaking. It just seems completely out of context. It doesn't make sense. So, I mean, if he did that to her, I want her to go forward and just, go after him legally.
Right.
Make him pay for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're saying, I'm not sure, it may not be about him, well, then what's your point? I think she's hurt herself publicly by doing what she's did.
I don't think she did it intentionally. Because she wasn't talking about him, she just gave too much information.
Yeah.
And then everyone pieced it together. It wasn't like she told them what it was. I mean, you just have to give, some people you'd have to just give, especially if they're famous. Like, I could take a couple of guesses and they're, well, who's she been with? So who does she know? Like, her friends, someone that she knows is on her blog that mentions, like, they know who she's been going out with, right? Yeah. Especially if they're following her blog, they know. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't take much to figure that out afterwards.
Like, I guess what she did hurt both of them. Mm-hmm. It didn't get anything done. If she got it off her chest to feel better, I don't think that's the result she's getting, and that's not the result he's getting. Even though some people believe him over her, there's still people that don't. So any reputation he's built, like if any charity work he's going to do in the future, or any charity work he's done in the past, all that's going to be in jeopardy. So anything he's done where he can put his name behind something to raise money for worthwhile causes are all going to be affected. Like this is affecting hundreds of millions of dollars of money he could be raising, or potential income, if you want to be selfish for him.
If he's raised income that has gone somewhere, that's fine. But don't be pulling that shit back, because now you're just, like you said, you're just damaging who you were supposed to be supporting.
And I know everyone say, like, he's got enough money. That's not the point. He does raise money for charities and things like that. So he's not going to be able to raise as much money for these charities now because his name has been blackened. Right. Whether you believe him or not, he's lost earning power for these companies that he raises money for, to help people, It's like,
which is the whole purpose.
All this did was damage everyone involved. It didn't further anything. So that being said, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I'm not part of it. I can't make a decision whether he did or didn't do it.
Right.
And because nothing's happening with it, and he presented his case, and I heard it, I'm still going to listen to his podcast. Like, that's all I can do.
Right.
I mean, unless the Bill Cosby thing happens, and then, 10 other women come out and say he did it, I can't stop because one person told the story, and I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah. Everyone has to make their own decisions and choices and do what they think is right, I guess.
Yeah, I don't support what they said he did, but I can't condone her actions of attacking him if they're not true.
Right.
But I don't want this to hurt the Me Too movement either. That's my concern.
Right.
Like, are people going to be afraid to go forward? Or is this going to hurt people believing people coming forward? That's the part that scares me. Are people going to be less likely to believe when someone comes forward and makes a claim like she did, and it's true? I'm not saying what she said isn't true, but if someone comes forward with a claim like this one, and they disbelieve that person because of what happened with this case, well, then what? Like I said, it hurts everyone all around. Maybe her execution needed to be better on this. If what happened, if what she said happened,
right,
and she failed on her execution of it because she couldn't provide enough proof or whatever the deal is, and say she's totally right, she just can't prove it, like, everyone lost. Like, someone should have helped her get the facts across, or build a case, or, like, if he did what he did, what she said he did, man, that's horrible. He's a horrible person. But anyway, I mean, I have to go with the way things were before she came out until I hear otherwise.
Right.
Like, he helps me, actually. I listen to his show, and he, psychologically and emotionally, he talks about stuff, and he talks about feelings, and he actually makes me feel like I'm a better person. Like, I actually get a lot out of his podcasts. They're very self-help. So, like, do I stop listening to it and stop getting the help that he provides? Like, is it tainted? I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can also say, Bill Cosby was the thing in the 80s with his show and everything, and it was pretty much it was a feel-good show.
It was very much a feel-good show.
Yeah, so now with all this stuff that happened, and people like, well, I'm gonna miss my feel good show. This is where people have to decide. Oh, there's Luna.
Guess where I am.
At home.
Luna's making another appearance on the podcast. Hi, Luna. Yeah, sweetie. Yeah, sweetie.
She's so happy.
Yeah, she's so happy. Yeah, I'm home. I know. Okay, well, I better...
So is it?
I think this is the end.
It's the end?
I think so.
All right, then.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, hey, bye.
See ya. Bye.